Now Cameroon are back for a major football competition, except this time they're expected to win it. Just as in 1990 in Italy, Cameroon find themselves kicking off a major competition. 18 months ago they shocked Argentina in that opening game. Now if Morocco beat them, Cameroon will be the talking point of world football, but for the wrong reasons. I'm joined in my commentary position by Don Howe, the present Coventry City manager. First of all, what do you think about Cameroon, and are they still the side they were from 1990?
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether they are or not. They've got most of the players that went to Italy in their lineup. Obviously, they've got a new coach now. Over the years, they've had Russian coaches, they've had French coaches. It will be interesting if they can keep the quality up. Obviously, they must be favourites for this tournament. But at the same time, Morocco have always done well as well. I mean, they've qualified for World Cups. They got to Mexico. So it looks as though that these two sides, really, and I wouldn't say it's easy to qualify, but it looks as though in this group of three, that these two ought to qualify and go through. But it'll be interesting to see whether the Cameroons can have the same quality as in Italy.
What about the man they all talked about in Italy, Don? Roger Miller.
Roger Miller, yeah.
Are you going to miss him?
I think so, yeah, because he was a character. And, I mean, even then, in those days, they thought he was wouldn't be able to play too many games, and they used to sub him, and they used to use him for the last half hour. They used him quite carefully, but they used him very well, because more times than not, when he got on, he scored a goal.
Let's break now for the opening ceremony.
Le tournoi final de la 18e Coupe africaine des Nations.
Enjoy what should be a feast of football for the start of the 18th African Nations Cup, this Group B game between Cameroon and Morocco. Morocco, remember, failed to qualify for the African Nations Cup last time round in neighbouring Algeria. But they're back here on a big stage, and they couldn't be really facing a bigger opposition in terms of Cameroon and what they've achieved in world football over the past 18 months. Do you think there'll be a little bit of pressure on Cameroon?
I think so, yeah. I mean, everybody expects them, because they did well in the World Cup, to do it again. But obviously the players are just that little bit older now, but they have got that experience. We'll see. I mean, this first game, more times than not, you think to yourself, well, how are they going to play it? Are they going to have a go? Are they going to attack? Are they going to sit back and say, hang on, this first game, we don't want to get beaten? It will be interesting. I mean, Morocco also, it'll be interesting to see their approach. I mean, obviously they'll be very aware of the Cameroons and the Cameroon reputation. Whether they go forward and say, come on, we can beat this team. Obviously, the thing about the African players, and they are kind of now popping up all over Europe. I know Bobby Robson's got two Nigerians in PSV. There's a smashing player at FC Eintracht in Germany, from the Congo. So they are improving, and what they have got, they've got a lot of individual skill, you know, and they've got a lot of pace as well. I suppose the biggest, if it is a weakness, the weakness is they're not tactically very good, and they lack that little bit positional discipline. I would think that's the biggest problem for the coaches to get across, and they do import coaches now from all over the world. You will find all over Africa now they've got German coaches, Russian coaches, French coaches. They do import, and obviously that's why football in Africa is improving all the time.
I'd like to take you back to the 1986 World Cup, Don. I think you might have been involved then when England played against Morocco.
Yep.
When Ray Wilkins was sent off, and I believe England drew 0-0 against Morocco. And it was a disappointing day for English football.
It was a very eventful day, yeah. Ray got sent off, very unluckily, I thought. And I think you'll find that that was the day that Brian Robson did his shoulder again, and that was the end of his World Cup. But we battled on, and with the 10 men that we played for most of the match with when Ray got sent off, we got a draw. A lot of people kind of wrote us off then. We'd lost to Portugal, we drew with Morocco, so a lot of people were writing the England team off. And then we got it together, and then we went on and beat Poland and qualified. And until we played Argentina, did quite well. Obviously, they'll be, even in the Moroccan side, I mean, I don't know some of these players, I've got to say, I've got to admit that. But even here again, it will be good to see if they are building, because obviously this is their, I wouldn't say the build-up for the World Cup, but they are getting ready for the World Cup. They all these teams will want to qualify for the World Cup in 2 years' time.
Well done. We'll be enjoying this match alongside me. Check now on the two teams. And we start now with the Cameroon lineup, the one that they picked for this important opening game against Morocco. Plenty of names I'm sure you'll remember there from the World Cup in Italy in 1990, including number 20, Cyril Makanaki, who scored an African Nations Cup semi-final winner against Morocco back in '88. I'm sure Morocco will remember him. Ebwele, Omambiek, of course, Mabu, all played with distinction in Italy. I'm looking to do the same here in Senegal. Well, Morocco have changed and swapped over the last 12 months as they've tried to find a winning formula to give them a chance in this African Nations Cup. They've used about 30-odd players in their preparation for the African Nations Cup final. Listen to the final 11 which they've decided to pick. Bouda Bala, undoubtedly their star. He wears number 8 for them. He scored 2 qualifying goals for Morocco from midfield. He plays his club football in Lyon in France, very much the playmaker of the team, and if Morocco are going to do well in this competition, they'll look to him. We break now for the national anthems.
Slowly, that's
expectant crowd here in the Stade Dakar, the Senegalese capital. They've waited a long time for this competition to get underway, and they feel now that they're ready to stage a major sporting competition in terms of Africa that comes no bigger than the African Nations Cup. Lim Ki Chong is today's referee from Mauritania. Both the linesmen are from the Ivory Coast. In fact, one of them is from Gabon, and one from the Ivory Coast. As you can see, this stadium is full for this opening game. Who are the teams we're going to look out for in the next week or so, Don?
Mainly because of their World Cup performances over the last two World Cups. Nigeria, they are a side that are virtually exporting players all over Europe. I would think those three really are the favourites for this tournament. It will be interesting, Gary, to see how the pitch plays. I mean, I was just watching the soldiers there march up and down the pitch, which obviously isn't helping thing, but it looks as though it's kind of this spongy grass that you'll find that it'll hold the ball up. And I sometimes think that whether that's conducive to good football, you know, it slows the game down a little bit.
I was recently over in China, actually, Don, playing for a FIFA 11, would you believe? Great honour for myself. We played on a very similar sort of surface to that, and the ball really held up well, but it seemed to have a lot of weed in it, the grass.
Yeah.
And it was almost like playing on an astroturf.
Yeah, it's like this Bermuda grass. It hasn't got like a lot of roots like our grass. It spreads like a weed, really. I mean, obviously it's grass. It spreads like a weed, and what you find is that it's the feet. You'll see the boots. The bottom of the boots go right into the grass. Obviously, if you hit long balls, they will check. They won't keep running on and perhaps run off the pitch for a goal kick or out of play. You'll find that the ball, if they chip any balls and they drop into space, they'll hold up because it is like a spongy surface. But it doesn't make for good passing. You know, you can't zip the ball about and play one touch and two touch.
Once again, a check on the Cameroon side. Confirmation our match today. Cameroon against Morocco. There's number 3, Jules Anana, the Cameroon defender. Thinks today's game will prove to be one of the most important to the whole competition. There, the Morocco 11. I suspect Morocco will be a little bit more nervous than Cameroon here.
I don't know, Gary. We'll see. Here again, this first match is a difficult match. You know, everybody in the country, everybody perhaps in Europe, will be watching them. No one will want to get beat.
So, Cameroon, the indomitable Lions, get the African Nations Cup underway, playing in green jerseys from right to left in the first half, against the team nicknamed the Atlas Lion Cubs. And it's the Atlas Lion Cubs. Morocco in possession at the start of this game. Boudabala. Playing it very slow at the start, as you'd expect. Fadel. Just trying to get the early feel of the ball. 6 is Nebet. Regular now in this Moroccan defence, played in the league title winning team last year in Casablanca. 2 is Azouzi. Cameroon haven't had a kick yet. Azouzi again. Looked like it was a foul on Boudabala, but the referee waved to play on. Once again, Morocco keep possession. Azouzi. Picked up by number 13, Boyou. Boudabala. Strange looking pass to his left back. Nebet.
What you find here, Gary, and this is perhaps one of the negative sides of football, is that you get the team with possession don't want really to play balls and give the ball away, so they won't play forward balls, so they'll keep it at the back like this. And the team who've got to get the ball, like the Cameroons here, like they're virtually playing it like basketball, they're going back in their own half. Not really wanting to pressurise the Moroccans in their half, so you get this kind of negative play, and sooner or later the ball's got to go forward and it's got to go in there if somebody's going to create a chance. And obviously the crowd won't like this.
We've had a couple of minutes of the game. Cameroon haven't had a kick yet. They've had a header there. It's not a particularly good header as well. Here's Azouzi. First real shot in anger for Morocco, and Azouzi galloping hard into that inside right position. Almost stole a little bit of personal glory for himself there.
See, that chance really came out of, and it really ought to encourage the Moroccans to go forward, because it was a kick out the goalkeeper's hands. He thumped it deep in the Cameroon half. The centre half looked not too good in the air to that type of ball. He misheaded it. The Moroccans got on the knockdown and got a shot out of it. So it really ought to encourage them to go forward.
Cameroon, man who was sent off against Argentina in the opening game of the World Cup, just turning it back to his goalkeeper, Joseph Antoine Bell, the Saint-Etienne player. There's one here for Oman Beek to chase. 13 is Jean-Claude Pagal, another man who plays his club football in France. And Aziz should get there, indeed he does. And Badou Zaki, the goalkeeper, collects the ball. There's a foul inside that penalty area. Zaki, as you can see, the captain of Morocco, had a spell with Real Mallorca in the Spanish First Division, and the problem here. And you talked about his shoulder injury for Brian Robson in that game against Morocco. How ironic that appears to be the problem now with one of their defenders.
Well, obviously, there's something wrong there, and they were rubbing his left shoulder. It was a long ball played out of the Cameroon defence. There was a challenge in the air, and obviously, as the lad's gone up, he's either got the collision in the air, or he's lost his balance in the air and come down on his shoulder. More times than not, that's what's happened. And it looks fairly serious. I mean, I'm quite surprised to see a stretcher there.
In fact, it's Fadel, the man who's caught his shoulder.
Yes, there it is, look.
He certainly felt that, didn't he?
Well, what he did, he jumped above the Cameroon forward, and he came down on the Cameroon shoulders, and his arms seemed to be forward in front of the player and his body behind. And it must have somehow, I've got a feeling he's got a dislocation there, Gary.
So Gilal Fadel, the player from the Casablanca club.
It was definitely the collision in the air rather than, it wasn't the fall onto the ground.
So for the time being, Morocco are going to be down to 10 men as they try sort out that injury to Fadel. Just looking at his shoulder there, it doesn't appear to be dislocated.
No. I would think Gary's going to come back on. You know, he's the trainer and the doctor are over there. They'll make sure everything's okay and he'll be back on the pitch.
9 is Kayoch, the Stade player, and fouled there with a rugged challenge by Mabou. Pagal. Good day. Good deal of composure about Cameroon in these opening stages. I think you've got the equation just about right, Don. They are patching him up, ready to bring him back onto the field. Tripped from behind there by Jean-Paul Mafede, the Olympic volley midfield player for Cameroon.
That was a problem with the Cameroons in Italy, Gary, that they did have a lot of players with yellow cards and a lot of players get sent off. You know, they've got something about their football. I don't know whether they think it's getting stuck in or what, but it's sometimes a little bit cynical as well. And they suffered for it, I thought, in Italy.
That 2 players sent off in that opening game against Argentina. They're running out of players by the time they met England in the quarter-finals.
And obviously that's what could happen here.
So the running repairs continue to Fadel. They obviously feel it's an important cog in their machine. We've had 6 minutes of the game. It's Cameroon 0, Morocco 0. Number 2 there is Cameroon. Those players sent off against Argentina at the opening match of the World Cup. We're looking to stay on the field in this opening game, mind you. Once again, another rugged challenge. Maybe Cameroon feel they can physically intimidate Morocco here.
They do like a tackle, I'll tell you that, and sometimes it's off balance, and it's not getting to the ball, it's getting to people, it's getting to other players' legs.
Maybe losing the ball in midfield. Pagal. Plenty of players forward on this particular Cameroon break. Pagal. There's Fidel back on the field of play, but obviously feeling that left shoulder injury. I don't know how that will affect him when he climbs to head away the long balls that Cameroon are bound to play in that last third of the field. We'll have to wait and see. It could be a crucial factor in this game. It's a game of cat and mouse at the moment. Joseph Antoine Bell, 37-year-old goalkeeper.
See, Gay, the idea of this type of football is to try and suck the other team forward. So they'll hold the ball at the back and they'll keep playing it square at the back and go round, and they're hoping that the other team will come down and try and press it and get it off them, and then there's space behind them to get it. But obviously they're not going to come down, are they? They're going to wait in their own half for the ball to come through. So in the end, to get a forward ball, they have to play a long ball. What they ought to do now is be poking it through these front players into midfield players.
No real shape yet in this game. Cameroon in the green 0, Morocco 0. Just joined us, you're watching Screen Sports coverage of the African Nations Cup, the opening match of the competition from Group B. Group B containing Cameroon, Zaire and Morocco. And it's Cameroon in possession. Mabou with the tackle. There is Mabou. He missed the last African Nations Cup after picking up a winner's medal back in '88. Busy little midfield player. He'll be prompting Cameroon forward in this game. As yet they haven't got a stranglehold on the match. To the aid of Cameroon then. I'm sure that wasn't intended. Man Beek trying to gain possession, can't do so. One back by Morocco, who build patiently. Here's Mifede. Boyoub, number 13. The second time in a major footballing competition, remember. Cameroon involved in the opening game, and a substitution here. It looks like Fidel is going to take no further part in this game. That shoulder injury he is claiming has got worse and worse, and they've had to bring him off. Is on for Morocco. Azouzi really wasn't the most intelligent of crosses to the back post. There wasn't a...
I think that the Moroccans have settled down the best. I mean, the Cameroons at the moment look a little bit disjointed. They're not threading their passes together like the Moroccans. The Moroccans are very clever on their short little passing, their little kind of 10-yard play, little 1-2s off each other. The quality of that cross was poor.
Balloon for the record, playing in his first African Nations Cup. Now finds himself pressed into the Moroccan defence. 13 here is Jean-Claude Pagal. And there was a foul there, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, he didn't play the ball at all. As he went across him, his left leg came out.
Appears to be the first booking of the African Nations Cup. So, Cyril Makanaki with his free kick. Naibet, the man who's been booked. Oh, splendid free kick, which Zeki had to be aware of. Struck with some force, I think, by Mabou.
It was a great left foot shot. It with a lot of pace, and luckily it's fairly central. If that had been in the top corner somewhere like that, there could have been problems.
Well, Cameroon have given intention that from their dead ball situations, they go prepared to try their luck. But they have some defending to do here. This is Koundé who brings it clear. Pagal. Pagal again. One defender too many. And it was a dangerous ball, wasn't it?
Yes, he was. I think Pagal, Gary, he is prepared to run at players. He is prepared, once he gets inside the Moroccan half, to go and attack people with the ball. And obviously that will do one of two things. It'll either get a free kick, and they look as though they've got a bit of quality on the free kicks, or obviously it'll create an opening.
Ragib, the player, must find his way through to Joseph Antoine Bell. Ragib playing it front for Morocco. Makanaki trying to win the ball, he has it now. Stern challenge though. Crosses by Kanya Biik. Kayuch. Naibet. Ragib. Tau back defending. Ragib, who's been suffering from a knee injury the last couple of weeks. That's a late fitness test to play. There's an offside decision against Morocco there.
When the Moroccans go forward, to make running, I mean, there on that last attack when they created an opening, they were prepared to run wide down the left flank, then they were prepared to run wide down the right flank, and this is the type of thing that can get beyond the sweeper.
Van Beek with that little cross, hammered away only as far as Mafede. Mafede wins it. Van Beek should be far too close to Zaki. Really is like a child's firework, which hasn't burst into life yet.
No, well, like I said early on, Gary, it's the first game of the World Cup, and it'll be the same when we have the first game of the European Nations Cup in Sweden. You know, they're on show. There's a little bit more nerves around. They don't want to lose, so they play carefully. You know, they don't throw too many players forward. They hold possession of the ball. And everybody wants the thing to go off, like you said, everybody thinks, come on, let's get this tournament alive. But the two teams have got to get out there and play. And it does look sometimes a little bit negative.
Pagal. Mabou. Were you making sure that Mabou didn't progress down that left-hand side? Rather cynical challenge.
I mean, he just caught him, but it wasn't heavy.
It was intentional though, Don, wasn't it?
I think it was intentional, yeah, he didn't want to get beaten.
Makanaki trying his luck, headed back into the danger zone by Oman Biek. Oh, Zaki tried to smother the danger, but didn't get there quickly enough.
Yeah, well, the keeper came out, and to be honest, the forward virtually gave up. He thought the goalkeeper had got it, and the goalkeeper missed it. If the forward had stayed alive, there might have been a second chance for him to get it in the net.
Susie, that time the man was fouled. We've only had one yellow card so far, that for Nebet of Morocco. I suspect it won't be the last yellow card of this opening game of the African Nations Cup. Boudabala playing a little bit too deep for my liking. I think he should press on a little bit. But as Don was saying, caution is the name of the game so far, as that one's headed away by Boulal.
Well, obviously he's the playmaker, you know, and he wants to come back and Boulal, he wants to come back and take the ball off the back four and distribute it. At the moment, he's going too deep, you know, and he's not going to hit the balls that's going to get the back of the Cameroon defence.
Ayoudi opting to keep possession rather than shoot on goal. Still 0-0. We've had 18 minutes of the game. And Cameroon proving as rugged as they were 18 months ago when they competed in the 1990 World Cup finals in Italy. Cameroon's performance at reaching the World Cup quarter-finals of course helped win African football a third place in the World Cup finals from 1994 onwards. They have a lot they can build on. African football owes them a good deal. This is Makanaki, forced towards the corner flag by the attentions of the substitute, Wouloud. That was a good ball by Pagal. Plenty of players forward here. Oman Biek just didn't have half a yard to turn and shoot on that Moroccan goal. Pagal again, onto his left foot. That really is meat and drink to Zaki in the Moroccan goal. He can deal with those all day.
That was the first real bit of danger for the Cameroon side. There was a nice run from behind the play, behind the ball, and it was a lovely chip into space for him to catch the ball. Then it came out again, and instead of the Cameroon forward getting it in with his right foot, he decided to check, come back on his left foot, and the in swing took it into the goalkeeper. No real danger on that cross.
Wele will take the throw. It's a great skill there by Mefede. He's lost a boot as well. Babu. Pagal. Oh, it took a deflection. That'll be a corner for Cameroon. That could have proved to be a nasty moment to the Moroccan goalkeeper Zaki, because Pagal really got hold of that full-blooded shot. Goalkeeper had it covered initially until it struck one of his own defenders. He looks
as though he's the Cameroon's main front man. I mean, he does attack people on dribbles and runs at them, and it looks as though he's got a good shot.
Mefede drives it in. Oh, that's a great ball. Space. Now he has Wele snapping at his heels. What looks so promising ends so disappointingly for Morocco. He almost had a one-on-one with the goalkeeper then.
Yeah.
The end was forced ever wider by Wele and then concedes the goal kick.
Well, it was the quality of that diagonal pass that made it for him. If his first touch had been better and he could have gone on with the ball in the back of the defender, then it might have been one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But he never really got all of it, and he was forced out wide to the left wing, but the quality of the pass, you see, when you attack down one side of the pitch and the sweeper comes across to guard in the back of the defenders, if you hit a diagonal ball to the opposite side of the pitch and you hit it in the back of defenders, you've always got a chance of getting in.
There's a useful flick on, and the opening goal is scored by Kanya Biek. The man who was sent off against Argentina in the opening game of the World Cup now scores the first goal of the African Nations Cup. Cameroon 1, Morocco 0.
Long throw, Gary, into the box. I don't think the Moroccans are very good in the air. There's no marking on the back post. He's virtually free on the back post, the Cameroon front player. And obviously all he's got to do then is just flick it into the corner of the net.
Great flick on by Oman Biek to his brother. And a little bit of brotherly love sets Cameroon alight in the African Nations Cup opening match.
Well, obviously the Moroccans look as though this type of tactic they're going to have a problem with. There's a lot of Moroccans in there, but they're not really picking up. They don't cope with the ball in the air from the long throw that comes in to start with. It gets flicked on, and then the man who scores comes round the back of everyone and just flicks it into the net.
Philip Redon, just on the right of your picture momentarily, could even force a smile. And that's why he's smiling, because Cameroon lead Morocco. Both these teams are expected to qualify from Group B and go through to the latter stages of the competition. My fear is that Cameroon might think they've done the job already and try to close this game down. Dom?
Well, they might want to close it down, but obviously now the Moroccans have got to show their intent. You know, they can't just hold possession now at the back. They've got to go forward. They've got to try and force that equaliser. If he can't go forward, he should be laying it back to a supporting player, and then it goes into the box. Obviously, if he can go in himself and do the job, fine.
Brushed off the ball, but their domination of midfield and their urgency of play have set Cameroon apart from Morocco in this match so far. Ebouele, Babou, Kanya Biek, the goal scorer. Stephen Tatau, headed clear by Moroccan defence. They'll just want to steady it down now. Those of you who remember the stars of Cameroon in Italia 90, you'll be pleased to know that Roger Milla and Thomas Como, the goalkeeper, are here in Senegal as spectators though, and no doubt they'll be delighted with their team's performance. Is Babou. Confirmation of the score. Nearly half an hour gone of this game. Makinaki. And ball, free kick to Cameroon. Well, it's not as though Morocco have proved scant opposition in this game. They began the game probably better than Cameroon, but just haven't been able to live up to Cameroon Cameroon's attacking, and there's an opening here. It's still in play. Mafedi. Kunde. Makinaki, that's a foul. We can look once again at Cameroon's goal, the only one of the match so far. This flick on here by Oman Biek. And Kenya Biek with a decisive header.
Yeah, well, you see, when you see it from this angle, you can see the space, the man who scores at the end of it. It's a nice flick on, there's people in the box, and yet he's completely free in the back of everybody, just runs around the back, flicks it on inside the far post. And that's just bad defending, and it's just happened again. I mean, the last attack the Cameroons made, the ball was played to the back post, and there was a Cameroon player free on the back post. It looks to me as though the Moroccans are not as well disciplined as what they ought to be, and they're not good at picking up.
It's interesting you should say that, Don, because some of the newspapers were suggesting a clash of styles today between Morocco and Cameroon. Now, where was that foul? The answer, I suspect, is outside the penalty area. Kunde certainly claiming that his challenge on Kayouch was outside the box, and the referee, Lim Gaechong from Mauritius, Mauritania, should I say, certainly agrees with him.
Yeah, well, the contact was definitely outside the box, although Kayouch knocked the ball forward into the box, and obviously his momentum would take him into the box, but the contact was definitely about a foot or so outside the box, and that's what the referee has to go on.
So, who'll strike this free kick? Cameroon have already shown in their number 8 Babu they have a player who can terrorise goalkeepers from this sort of position. I wonder if Joseph-Antoine Bell is quivering on his goal line.
Well,
Morocco have 3 men over the ball.
It's on the edge of the box. It's a great position for a free kick.
Cameroon 1, Morocco 0. Half an hour gone of this opening match in the African Nations Cup from Dakar.
See, the Moroccans are putting players on the end of the wall to affect the keeper's view.
Well, the wall did its job.
Very disappointing free kick in the end. I mean, he never got it over. I suppose it was supposed to be a left foot bender over the top of the wall, dragging towards the post. He never got it up, did he? I mean, it contacted the wall halfway up the wall.
Not the sort of thing you'd be too appreciative of at Highfield Road, no?
No, you'd expect a little bit more quality than that.
I suspect that too. 2 particularly poor dead ball situations, both of which Morocco have squandered. And being a goal behind, it's hardly what you'd expect from them.
Well, he looks as though the 14 looks as though he can bend that ball from that. Obviously, he's a left back, and he's come all the way across to the right wing to take the corner, so they fancy him. Perhaps when he gets his range, if he gets a chance again, sometimes the people who take corners, they need to take a couple before they feel the weight of the ball, the weight of the kick, so they can get it in the right position.
Bagal. Kenya Biek. Chipped in by Ebwele. Never really any hope that Oman Biek's header would chest the goalkeeper, and it was worth a try. Babu. I just wonder when Cameroon wander into those situations, wide on the left and wide on the right, they're just looking for those free kicks there, Don.
Oh yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar. I mean, you find that obviously the Continentals as well is that...
Oh, how about that for a save? Free header.
What I was going to say, Gary, was that obviously they've done their homework on Morocco, and they don't think the Moroccans are very good in the air, in the defence, and they've already squeezed the cross coming in again. Look,
this is the man who got the flick on for the goal, Francois Oman Biek. That's twice now he's won important crosses.
Oman Biek, yeah, he's outstanding in the air, and obviously they're going to when they get the chance to get crosses in, and obviously if they can force free kicks, they know that the Moroccans can't cope with him, and he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to head the ball in the net himself, like he tried to then, or he's going to get a flick on.
Jean-Claude Pagal running into the proverbial brick wall there. The tackle of Nebet. Budabala wants to get on with it. A little bit too quickly for the referee's liking. Cameroon have had the greater volume of scoring opportunities, but they've only converted one of them so far. They lead by a goal to nil. Is Koundé.
Very experienced Koundé. He was a stalwart in Italy. He was always in the thick of things at the back, and he was solid all the time. Played a good job as centre of defence.
I wonder if you remember, he was a man who scored the penalty against England.
Yes.
In that quarter-final in Naples to make it 1-1. When Cameroon came so close to reaching the World Cup semi-finals, until Gary Lineker took a hand in the game.
They keep hitting those lovely diagonal balls, Morocco, and more times than not, one of their forwards gets on the end of it, but they don't push him behind it quick enough. The midfield players just watch the ball go in there and virtually stand the halfway line.
Pagal. Well, they appeal for offside against Oman Biik. He is really making a name for himself now, because he's unsettled Morocco's defence. He's flicked the ball on for the opening goal. He's had a free header which was saved by the goalkeeper Zaki, and they're finding him quite a handful now.
He looks like a good English centre forward, Gary. You know, he's good in the air, he shows for the other players to play in, he's got a little bit of skill on the ground. He looks a good all-round player, together with Makanaki, and Makanaki can run with it, twist and turn. There goes that ball again. They play those balls, Morocco, and they're good balls, and I mean, they're getting people on the end of them. I mean, that one ran out of play. But if the midfield players then, as soon as the ball went, pushed up behind that player, so that if he can't go for it, he can turn around and play back, then they're going to push the Cameroons back, and they're going to get in the heart of the Cameroon half, and they can create chances.
Susie ran out of space, but still managed to find a teammate there. I suppose the question now is, can Morocco pull this game from its intense fire? And Cameroon are really stoking it up here. Pagal. 6 is Emmanuel Koundé. Ebwele. 10 minutes to half-time. Azuzi. Given away to Oman Biik. 10 chasing that one as Mefede, but Azuzi turns it back to Zaki in the Moroccan goal. I think it's been a better game since that goal.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. You know, there's not so many passes in the back four now. The both teams are trying to get the ball forward,
Oman Biik.
which obviously makes for a more exciting game. This is what the people want to see.
Pagal.
The Cameroons can virtually get in any time they like in the far post. I mean, as long as they get people around the back, I mean, the Moroccans have got no idea how to cope with it. They definitely can't mark it.
Makanaki getting stuck in. Jayuch. Budabala. Plenty of players forward on this attack. Ayoub on the back post, they haven't picked him up. Oh, just for a moment there.
Well,
Cameroon were left short-handed in the left back berth.
Well, that was definitely, literally a hair's breadth about for the Moroccans to get in, because they got two players queuing up on that back post. Luckily, the left back just got the tip of his head to it and flicked it on.
Time. Cameroon lead Morocco by a goal to nil. Stade can't win it. This is Pagal. Great skill. It's round two. He lays it into the path of Mefede. This is great football. Oman Big. They're calling for the ball in the middle. Number 13, Pagal is unmarked. Almost an own goal. It was the left back who diverted that shot onto the frame of the goal. And now Morocco have come within a whisker of going two behind.
Well, this one could have gone in. We've seen this before in English football where a defender gets there and he gets a deflection. They can get inside that near post. As the cross comes in, the defender just has to put a head there, hopefully, and he'd hit the post and come away. But the architect of that attack for the Cameroons was Pagal. You know, he is the playmaker there for Cameroon in the middle of the pitch. And when he picks it up, he can either pass it or he can run with it.
Well, Navet has had an interesting first half. He's been booked, and now he's hit his own upright. Things are going to get better for him in the second half.
Yeah. But they don't pick up the Moroccans.
Mabou, can you see more goals done in this game?
Without a doubt against Morocco, yeah.
Kanyebiik. Mefede's cross. Back to Mefede again. Ghosting into that inside left position now is number 2, Kanyebiik. Man who scored the only goal of the game, Pagal. Tennis Mefede. Possession football now by Cameroon. They've really got hold of midfield by the scruff of the neck, and they're shaking the life out of Morocco now. Almost at will, they're finding a way through on goal.
There we go again, the back post, completely open. Just flicked it, just get the cross into the back post, and the player who comes in there more times on his free. They're ball watchers, the Moroccans. You know, they play man for man and sweep, and yet the man from man marking is not what it ought to be. I mean, they're in the stride now, the Cameroons. I mean, they've really got a grip of this game. They are virtually getting right on top.
Azuzi. Kayuch.
He gets down there, Kayuch. He keeps getting down in behind this left back. He picks up the ball. He has to, obviously, he's fairly tight to the touchline. He's pulled people out the middle, and all he needs is quick support. Because more times than not, he either gets bundled over or there's 2 or 3 Cameroon defenders around him and get it off him.
Boudabala this time fouled by Jean-Claude Pagal. I think they're quite happy to let Kayuch wander down those blind alleys.
Yeah, I suppose so. It could be they're saying, well, he's not harmful out there. He's not going to hurt us out there. It would do if he got quick support to him and he turned around and laid him back and the next ball went in the box. Then it would be dangerous.
Boudabala. Even for a 37-year-old goalkeeper, that wasn't a difficult shot for Joseph Antoine Bell to stop.
But they got that one on target. The last one hit the wall.
He's had a frustrating first half, Kayuch.
He's working hard, Gary. He really is. He's prepared to make runs.
Well, he came to Senegal by no means certain of picking up a regular place in this Moroccan team. And yet he's managed to start their opening game here against Cameroon. First half which hasn't gone really Morocco's way, and as Don Howe was explaining, Cameroon, as the first half progressed, have looked more and more in control of midfield. That's why they lead not only by goal to nil, but they could have made it 2 or 3. Chase is on here. That's an easy race which Bell will win. It's been the first half packed full of incidents. It started a little bit too much sterile football for our liking, but it's warmed up since then. It's a really full-blooded affair now.
It's like all games like these, Gary, is that it needs a goal. And since we've had the goal, the game's opened up.
Kanya Biik spraying it wide, looking for Stephen Tatau, who delivers a fine-looking cross. And goalkeeper and defender got themselves in a quite horrific mess, which has ended with the goalkeeper picking up a hip injury.
Yes, that could have been a very dangerous injury. I mean, the defender did well. Obviously, he couldn't have got a shout, so the defender was positive, went for it and got it out of play. The goalkeeper wasn't going to arrive.
Well, Azusi went straight into Zaki, the goalkeeper. We're going to have a slight interruption in play, whilst physiotherapist for Morocco attends to the 2 players. Zaki playing in goal for Morocco in the 86 World Cup and was voted African Footballer of the Year in 86. This is 2nd African Nations Cup, and as I was explaining, in those sort of situations you expect either the goalkeeper to call for the ball or the defender to call for the ball. In the end, Mafidi went in bravely.
Well, that's purely the goalkeeper's responsibility. You know, he's either going to say my ball and get there, or he's going to say away, so the defender knows he's got to attack it, which he does because he doesn't get a shout. And then obviously the collision is between the goalkeeper and the front player.
Sadly, a disturbing sight on any football terraces. 2 crowd disturbances, which the Senegalese police are dealing with very effectively.
It looks as though he's got a hip problem there. Bottom of his ribs on his right side. That's where the collision was.
Of course, an injury anywhere around that region is going to restrict the movements of a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Indeed, any player.
I mean, obviously they must be telling him it's virtually, we're nearly to half-time now, and you know, he's got to get through till half-time, and then at half-time they can sort him out.
Let's just see that incident again. It started with his cross by Stephen Tatau, the Olympic Mouvalet player. And look at the run here by number 10, Mafidi. More or less at the centre of your picture, he went in for the diving header. The man who managed to get his head to the ball was Azusi, but he collided with Zaki, his goalkeeper, who now has recovered. We're playing stoppage time at the end of the first half. Cameroon lead Morocco by goal to nil, and Makinaki to take the corner. Not a particularly good corner. Azusi, this time getting out of his goalkeeper's way, but at least finding him with a pass. Cameroon, remember, bidding for their 3rd African Nations Cup success.
He looks in trouble. He looks as though he's having a jobby.
Well, they have Khalid Azmi, probably their 2nd choice goalkeeper, standing by. He would wear the number 16 jersey. I suspect it would be Azmi to come on, the Casablanca player.
It looks as though it's just at the top of the hip bone. You know, and it would be sore there, I've got to say that, and it would restrict his movement. They're getting the spray in there, like they're trying to freeze it a little bit.
It's one of those injuries, you know, Dom, he can run off as an outfield player.
Yeah.
But as a goalkeeper, being restricted to the amount of time you're involved in a game, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yes, it is. I mean, if he was an outfield player, you'd stick him outside left, out of the way. You'd tell him there's, you know, just a few minutes before half-time. and you get on with it. It will be interesting to see what they do.
They've got problems here, Don, because that's the second player they will have lost in the first half.
Yeah.
They've already lost Stade with a shoulder injury, and now it looks like they're going to lose their goalkeeper and captain, Zaki. I suspect this is Khalid Azmi. Indeed it is. And now Morocco have used both their substitutes in the opening 45 minutes. We've played nearly 48 minutes in this first half. And Zaki has played his last football of this opening game.
Well, on comes the substitute goalkeeper. You can bet he's been waiting his chance. And he's very much been telling the coach, look, I want a chance, I want to show what I can do. This is it.
He'll be lucky if he gets a feel of the ball before half-time, Don.
Yeah, that's what to stay out at half-time. Have a few shots in.
I think they're just about to give him a touch of the ball just to get him used to the game.
Yep. They're very smart goalkeepers these days. I mean, the colours they get on are lovely, and they really dress the game up, the goalkeepers. I wonder if that goalkeeper can catch crosses, Gary. I wonder what he's going to be like in the air when these Cameroon crosses come in.
Let's see if he's got a nice loud voice his defenders can hear.
Yep.
If he's going to call for the ball, because that's exactly the problem which led to the injury to Badou Zaki, who's now left the field. We've reached nearly the 50-minute mark for this first half. Still we play stoppage time. Kayouch. That was a very good tackle indeed. Koundé timed it to perfection. And now another injury here.
He got in again there, Gary. I mean, Kayouch, I quite like him. I mean, he's prepared to work there. It's a good tackle, actually, from the defender in the end. Right-footed tackle, got himself right across Kayouch to get a toe to the ball.
And Mouloud, who has come on as a first-half substitute for Stade, is now nursing an injury, so too is Zaki. And the Moroccan bench looking like a hospital waiting area.
I've got to say this about the Cameroons. They are tough. I mean, they can play. They've got ability. But they are tough. They seem to be one of the tougher nations
Just to add insult to injury, Mouloud, the substitute, has been booked for his part in that incident. This time the free kick goes Morocco's way. Played 50.5 minutes in the first half. Still Cameroon in the green, lead Morocco in the red by a goal to nil in the African Nations Cup opening match. Live from Senegal.
Time to get an equaliser just before half-time.
It really would be against the run of play should Morocco manage to do so. But Kayouch, who's been their danger man, waiting in the 6-yard area. Good header away by Kanya, being good distance with that flick. And some intricate football now. Good ripple of passes here by Cameroon. They're athletic and they're entertaining, and you can't ask much more from any footballing side.
They are athletic, they are entertaining, and they are tough. know, they can make a tackle, sometimes a little bit out of bounds in terms of the rules, but they are one of the real professional African nations.
Susie with a disappointing pass. And after playing 7.5 minutes of stoppage time, referee Lim Ki-chong from Mauritania brings the first half to an end. A first half where Morocco have had to shrug aside their problems, losing 2 key players, a goalkeeper and a defender, and going behind to a goal after 22 minutes from Kanya Biek. Half-time score in this opening African Nations Cup game. Morocco 1, or Cameroon 1, Morocco 0.
Welcome back to the Friendship Stadium here in Dakar at half-time. The position, Cameroon leading Morocco by 1-0. We've had action, we've had entertainment, and thank goodness, Don, for an opening game as well in a big tournament, we've had a goal.
Yeah, that's right. It was a cautious start, Phil, which you would expect. I mean, it's the first game, and these two teams are on show, and they don't want to lose, and it always needs a goal to get a game going. And when we got that first goal, off they went. Both teams started to attack each other.
Now, many of the press down here in Africa are already calling Cameroon the pre-tournament favourites.
Yeah.
That adds a particular pressure of its very own, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, because everybody is expecting them to perform like they performed in Italy. I've got to say this, as that game went on, you could see their class. They are very professional. You know, they have got skill, they have got ability, and they are very professional. They're tough.
It's all really been played in the Moroccan half in the first 45.
Yeah. Well, up front, Oman Biek and Makanaki, always troublesome.
Well, I think we can have a look at some of the highlights from the first period here coming up. And this was a strong free kick held by Zaki under the crossbar.
Lovely struck ball. Luckily for the Moroccans, it was direct. It was virtually straight at him.
That was Mafedi with the first shot in anger. After just 30 minutes, following a foul which saw Nabet going into the book, and here was the goal on 23.
Well, they have got this weakness at picking up the Moroccans, especially on the back post. And I mean, obviously it's a good long throw and it's a good flick on. But if they pick up, there's no problems. But give the Cameroons credit for it.
Long throw then from the far side. First header by Oman Biek. What a great target man he is for brother Kana, up from the back. Nodding home, really unopposed at the back post. A very English goal as well, Don.
Yes, very much so, yeah. It's one, obviously, they must have seen a lot of tapes of English football and they've worked at it in training. It is a training goal, this one.
And the Moroccans perhaps guilty of a little ball watching there. Some naivety about their defending at times.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, they're supposed to be man for man and sweeper at the back, and yet, but he's good in the air, Oman Biek. He springs well and he gets power into his headers. He really means it.
It's another one, fortunately for the Moroccans, straight at keeper Zaki. Coming forward again, the side in green, the indomitable Lions. Very close to a second here. We'll see it comes via the head of a Moroccan defender and back off the post.
But again, Pagal started it and he got to the back post and tried to get the crossing, and the defender had to deal with it. And obviously, he just, as the ball's coming across him, he puts his head to it, and he could have gone in the net as easily as hit the post and come out.
Well, it's Oman Biek there on the right-hand side of the box, turns his man, maybe the man who'd been booked earlier, heading against his own upright, and that would have been a second for Cameroon. As it is, they lead at the break here by 1-0. And the stats from the first period, goal attempts 6-1. The Moroccans never really getting within shooting range of keeper Bell until a few moments before half-time. But Cameroon, as we expected, Don, they haven't been too particular in their play either. They've committed 8 fouls to 5 from Morocco. And we've had a couple of yellow cards, perhaps surprisingly, against two Moroccan players, Nebet, and just before the break, the substitute, Mouloud, going into the referee's book. More goals to come in the second, Don?
I think so, yeah. I think the Cameroons now will take the game to the Moroccans, and with the Moroccan defending as well, I think we can see more goals for the Cameroons. They are the better side.
Certainly the Moroccans seem to be lightweight up front.
Yeah, I mean, Chayok is making a lot of runs, and he's trying to get away and make some space and pull defenders out in the middle. He's not getting enough support.
So it's a goal from Oman Biak, the man who plays his club football in the French First Division at Cannes. A great target man, as we've seen up front, and the Cameroons in particular dominant in the air, likely to cause more problems for Morocco in the second half. You're seeing the opening match live here from Dakar, from the African Nations Cup for 1992, and following on later this evening, here we'll bring you the host nation in action from Group A, Senegal, kick off their campaign against Nigeria, and that one full of potential. It could be explosive. It's bound to be interesting. Do stay with us for that after the conclusion of our opening Group B match. And you can see a roundup of all today's action from Dakar at 11 o'clock this evening, when we'll bring you edited highlights of the day's opening two games. So there's plenty of football to come over the next fortnight. We'll roll on tomorrow as we gather steam. Egypt enter the fray against Zambia. Make a note, that kicks off at 6:30 tomorrow evening, live and direct here from Senegal. Egypt tomorrow, that's another one to look forward to. We're reminded from their performances in the last World Cup as to what strides they've made as well. But Morocco with something to do here in the second half, if they're to come from behind. Well, 1976 was a year of glory for them when they were winners of this tournament. This was actually played on a league basis. We're showing you action here from an encounter in Addis Ababa against Nigeria on their way to the trophy. But they've now changed the format, expanded the competition. 8 teams taking part here in 76. We're now up to 12. And certainly the way they've divided it into the 4 groups of 3 with a knockout round to come next week, then that adds to the excitement as we go through the tournament. But back in 76, Morocco victorious there in Addis Ababa. So who will be the emerging stars over the next fortnight? Well, stay with us and you'll find out here, with all the games coming up to you live from West Africa. But the position inside the now packed to capacity Friendship Stadium in the capital city of Dakar, the opening match of the tournament sees Cameroon leading Morocco, and deservedly so, by 1-0 at the break. We'll be right back with the whole of the second half and that Senegal match to come as well. Do join us after this short break.
Welcome back to Screen Sports coverage of the African Nations Cup. Half-time, Cameroon 1, Morocco 0. It's been an incident-filled opening 45 minutes. If we have more of the same, there'll be a few complaints either in Senegal or the millions of people watching these pictures around the world. During the half-time interval, I was talking to Don Howe, and I understand, Don, that you once had Stephen Tchatchow, the Cameroon defender, on trial at Queen's Park Rangers.
And he's captain of the Cameroons as well, and he's a lovely lad, a good right back, but he had to prove himself better than David Bardsley, and he wasn't. David Bardsley, I think, is a better player, but he was okay. I thought he would get a club here in England, but no, I've got a feeling he went down to Brighton. I think he had a couple of weeks at Brighton, but they didn't take him.
We can look again at the only goal of the game, flicked on by Oman Biak and onto the head of Kanya Biak. midway through the first half. So Morocco get the second half underway in their red strip. Remember, they played in the '86 World Cup finals in Mexico in the same group as England, Portugal and Poland, and went through to the quarter-finals where they eventually were knocked out by Germany. Different stage, but proving even more difficult here in Senegal against a Cameroon side who are prepared to attack, they're prepared to be physical, and they're going to look for more goals in this second half. Cameroon in possession. Mabou. Makinaki. Eight again is Mabou. Taken off him though by Azuzi. This is a fine run involving Azuzi here. An opening for Kayouch, just the wrong side of the uprights. And he knows he should have done better. It's easily Morocco's best chance of the game, and it had them up off the bench, because they know their man should have scored.
Yeah, that's a lovely attack down this left side, got in behind the right back. A nice cross to the near post. He gets it stuck under his feet somehow. When he tries to strike, the ball is still under his body. He can't get it out of his feet to get a good strike in. I just wonder whether the other Moroccan forward would have been given offside.
All academic now. It's still 1-0 to Cameroon, but that was certainly a scare for the indomitable Lions.
I think it ought to be a little bit of encouragement for them, Gary, really. I mean, if they see that type, and they know they can get into those areas, and they can get those near post crosses in, you know, that should lift them a little bit.
This one stabbed on here. It was by Daoudi. This is good football by Morocco. They've come out at the start of the second half and are spraying some of these passes around. Boudabala, number 8, has probably played a little bit too deep for my liking, and probably the liking too of the Moroccan bench. He really needs to get involved a little bit more in the fray. Roll his sleeves up and tangle with the Cameroon midfield. That one right down the throat of Khalid Asmi, one of the two substitutes who have appeared in the opening 45 minutes. And the shot, fierce one though it was from Stephen Tatau, the man Don Howe was talking about just before the start of the second half.
Yeah, it was a good left foot, nice move from the Cameroons, and Stephen Tatau got there, got through the inside right spot, brought it onto his left foot and hit a good shot. It just dipped a little bit. Didn't give the goalkeeper many problems. It was a nice attack. They are very neat, the Moroccans, when they get on the ball. You know, they move the ball about, especially in the middle of the pitch, quite well.
Foul was by Onana. He's won more than 60 caps for his country. The experience of Cameroon is evident in this game. Onana again. That was a good pass by Ragib, forcing it wide. Quality of the service didn't match up by the quality of the cross. The overlapping fullback Azuzi really should have done better.
Oh yeah, I mean, the last attack they whipped it into the near post, and it looks to me as though that's their best bet on crossing situations. But for some unknown reason, he tried to stand it up to the far post, and it went behind the goal.
Waiting in the middle for this one, but it's forced away by Daoudi. 17 is Maloud. A little bit of space here. Ragib, he's found half a yard. He's in past Anana. And an opening here. Oh, great chance. Great save, though, by Joseph Antoine Bell.
Well, that was a super attack by the Moroccans. They got him behind the left back there, down that right wing. And a nice cross, low into the box. Virtually stepped over as he came into the box, letting it run to the far post. The goalkeeper did a super save, I've got to say that. He hasn't been in the game much, Bell, and he got out there and spread himself and stopped the ball going in the net.
And we can look at it again.
Here they go down this right wing, you see. The ball comes in low, the forward defender goes for it, let it run to the back post, watch the keeper come and spread himself, kept the ball out of the net.
There's certainly a possibility of a penalty just prior to that chance when Kayuch seemed to be tumbled as the ball ran past him.
Yeah, I like Kayuch. I think he's a hard-working lad. He's quite clever on the ball.
Omambik, Makanaki. Oh, this is good skill by him. Didn't have too many colleagues inside that Moroccan penalty area. And this time he's rather wasteful with his pass.
I think he's got a lot of confidence around the Moroccan box, Makanaki. He's got confidence in his own ability to take people on and carve himself a chance out, a shooting chance.
Well, the persistence of Daoudi did his team proud then. Kayuch appeared to be handball. Maybe it came off the thigh of the Cameroon defender. Certainly, Werner, the German coach in charge of Morocco, must be a little bit more heartened with the sort of football his team have played at the start of the second half, which is 6 minutes old, but still Cameroon in the green, lead by a goal to nil.
Well, what they're doing, Gary, they're attacking down the flanks. They've decided, I think, at half-time, look, that's going to be our best bet. Let's get in behind the two fullbacks, the two Cameroon footballs, make runs into there, and then whip in hard and low crosses in, near post crosses. And at the moment, it's working.
So, Morocco have shrugged aside their problems. They've had to make 2 enforced substitutions in the first half, losing their goalkeeper and captain Badou Zaki, and also their defender Gilal Fedal. They went a goal behind to that header by Kanya Biek. Of the two teams, they're playing the more enterprising and imaginative football at the start of the second half.
They've definitely opened the second half out a lot better.
It really wouldn't be a surprise if Morocco were to equalise. Here's Makanaki. The Moroccans in red have found a new lease of speed here. That really is, that ball there really is in good old English style, 40-yard pass, hoofed away in similarly English style.
The big diagonal ball, Gary. You know, it's trying to get away from the sweep. Down one side of the pitch, hit it diagonally to the far side of the pitch.
Now, was that one out of play? Kanya Biek just about kept it in before he ran into the challenge of Azouzi. Plays his football in Germany with Duisburg. 8 is Boudabala, who plays in France, one of several of these Moroccan side to play their club football in that country. Magal gets it clear to his Kanya Biek. Rather poor reverse pass back to Omambik. Once again, Morocco can attack down the flanks. Makanaki. Stephen Tatau. Maybe with a little bit of pressure applied to them, Cameroon are thinking perhaps a little bit more defensively now. Their free-flowing football of the last 20 minutes of the first half seems to have faded out. Omambik, such an inspirational figure in that opening 45 minutes, has disappeared into anonymity now. Boulal. Bagui. Left it behind a little bit. Azouzi. Really, it's interesting just to look at this Cameroon team. It's a side that fluctuates between real flair and delinquency at times.
Well, the Moroccans are definitely on top at the moment. I mean, they're forcing them back in. They're forcing the Cameroons back in their own half. I mean, they are pushing up as well from the back. And if they can keep this up and keep kind of making chances and get people free, there's no reason why they can't get an equaliser.
Nabek, the man who was fouled there by Neil Mabu, plays for Portuguese side, Castello Branco. Nate Boudabala. Of course, a lot of players that we'll see in this African Nations Cup will be looking to win contracts in Europe on their performances here.
Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar, Gary, that there'll be a lot of agents and a lot of scouts from all over Europe at this tournament, as there was in the South American tournament. A lot of those players have found European clubs.
Cameroon mustn't take it all for granted. They went out of the African Nations Cup at the first round last time around. So much expected from them because of their performance in Italy in the World Cup. Cameroon have more of their players playing in Europe than any other African country. Only Ghana comes close. And I was at the Under-17 World Cup during the summer. The Ghanaian team were absolutely besieged by scouts from Europe. Of course, Nilapti plays for Anderlecht. A couple of others of them too have joined Belgian clubs. So now, an unusual decision, this indirect free kick for this new goalkeeping law, that the goalkeeper, once he taps the ball down, isn't allowed to pick it back up again. And that's why we've got an indirect free kick inside this Cameroon penalty area. It's a new law which has been introduced by FIFA this season. Now, once the ball has been patted down, the goalkeeper can't regain possession.
No, but I mean, what the referee's got to do, he's got to say, well, did the goalkeeper try to catch it in the first place and he slipped out of his hands, or did he pat it down? Yeah, there's a difference. A lot of referees there have said, well, he didn't pat it down, he went to catch it, he came out of his hands, it hit the floor.
This is interesting to say the least, because the ball is on the 6-yard box. And of course, players have to retreat 10 yards. They can't do that. They'll have to make a line on their goal line.
That's right.
And this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it'll take a long time for the referee to organise the wall. You know, we could be in now for another 5 minutes, because obviously the Cameroon defenders will want to get out to the kicker as quick as they can and block the shot. These are a hell of a problem, these type of free kicks.
And they rarely succeed, because this Cameroon wall will rush the free kick taker.
It's like you said, they can't go 10 yards. I mean, at the moment they're about 3 yards. The ball's on the edge of the 6-yard box, and they're in the middle of the 6-yard box. Really, they should be spread along the goal line.
And the referee, Lim Ki Chong, is just explaining that to them.
Yes. They're not allowed to come forward on the far post.
And it looks like the start of a 1,500 metres race at the moment.
Yes.
And quite right, the referee booking the Cameroon player who was first away off the blocks. And I wonder how far Joseph Antoine Bell was when that free kick was taken. Onana, the man who was booked there, third player to be booked in this game. while Koundé has to be restrained because he wants to give the referee a piece of his mind.
I think if a goalkeeper gets it and he rolls it and then he picks it up, I understand. But when there's a shot comes in and he puts his hands to it and he bounces on the floor and he picks it up, you've got to let that go.
Well, the referee, perhaps under the gaze of one or two officials. Officials, should I say.
I've got to say this, the referee's
the right thing.
The referee's having a decent game. You know, he's aware of the play acting, and he's not when somebody goes down injured, he's not always getting the trainer on. Up to that moment, I thought he's having quite a good game.
Azuzi. Oh, Bell's in all sorts of problems here. Makinaki might just get him out of those. Wasn't the best of back passes either to Tatao, and he's scrabbling for the ball again. And all Cameroon's self-composure seems to have disappeared.
There's no doubt about it, this second half. The Moroccans have found that little bit of extra, and they're putting more pressure on the Cameroon defence, and they look a little bit vulnerable.
Bayoub. Kayouch. Boudabala. Well, if you just wandered into the stadium now and somebody told you that the scoreline was 1-0, you'd have a job working out who was winning.
Yeah, you would
the
say.
The answer is Cameroon are winning in the green.
You would say the Reds.
Cameroon happy to hammer the ball away. If you just switched on and you've been watching English League football this afternoon, this is the African Nations Cup. And this is the opening match of the competition, coming to you live from Dakar. It's Cameroon in green against Morocco in red. Cameroon are leading by a goal to nil, but Morocco have had the lion's share of play in the opening 17 minutes of the second half. Is Stephen Tatao. Of course, after the African Nations Cup, Cameroon, along with the other countries, will turn their attention towards qualification for the 1994 World Cup in America. Cameroon have been drawn with Zaire in that qualification group. Zaire, of course, the team they'll meet here, Senegal in Group B. Sick and tired of the sight of each other by the time they sort out who's going to the USA.
What they've done, the Moroccans, they've got a lot more confidence. They're pushing all their players forward. They're all getting into the Cameroon half. When the ball goes in the Cameroon half, there's pressure on. If a Cameroon defender or anyone else picks the ball up, there's pressure on him straight away, and they're getting a lot more joy out of it. I would think in the last 10 to 15 minutes, the Moroccan team have won the ball back more times than not in the Cameroon half.
It's been quite a different game, hasn't it, Don, from the close of the first half? What's gone wrong for Cameroon?
I don't think anything's gone wrong for them. I think the Moroccans are playing better. You know, they're pushing more players forward. If you remember in the first half, we were talking about those big diagonal passes they were hitting, but getting no support to Chayok. Now all of a sudden they're getting all their players forward and they're pushing the Cameroons back.
Big with that rather rugged challenge. risky pass to the heart of his own defence, and Cameroon, not too surprisingly, have given possession away here. Dayoudi. The confidence of Joseph Antoine Bell seems to have just disappeared over the last 10 minutes or so. He looked so confident in the opening 45 minutes. He's just seeped away the confidence of the Cameroon goalkeeper since the start of the second half. And Morocco, with their three forwards synchronising so well, have caused a lot of problems to that Cameroon defence. But all that clever football and possession needs a goal to add the final gloss. Maloud.
You see, they're putting more pressure, the Moroccans are putting more pressure onto the Cameroons, and the Cameroons, when they do pick the ball up, they're virtually giving it back to them straight away. And it's only because the Moroccans are virtually pushing 10 players forward all the time.
Foul goes the way of Stephen Tatau. There's the German coach, Werner, recruited to the job after the 1990 World Cup to improve the fortunes of Moroccan football. Lafida getting it wide. Side flag surely against Manbic here. Wouldn't have counted had it gone in. I think that's the first cross that Cameroon have put into the Moroccan box in the second half.
First sign of a decent attack from the Cameroons in the second half. What they did well there, the Moroccans, is that they held the box. They didn't back into the box because Manbic can beat them in the air anytime. And they played him offside.
Boudabala with that pass, but it's given away once again by Morocco. Makanaki. Tata. Strong counter-attack by Boudabala. He's taken some physical punishment in midfield for Morocco. Jean-Claude Bangel. Play-off was by Mabou. Unable to keep it in play. And a throw in Cameroon. 82, Cameroon beat Morocco to qualify for the World Cup finals. The competition, of course, played in Spain. Morocco have never beaten Cameroon in the two attempts in the African Nations Cup, so they've got a score to settle. They're a goal behind here. Delicately poised. Cameroon looking for a second goal, which would make their victory assured. Morocco have had probably the better share of play, looking for a goal to come back into the match. Tatau. Mabou. Plenty of men forward on this break, looking for Mefede. There's a trip there on Boyoub. Boudabala. Kayuch. Boudabala. This really is turning into a midfield slog now.
Yes, it is. And at the moment, the man on the ball is getting no pressure. He can virtually pick his time, pick his man when he wants to make his pass.
Boudabala again. He has two Cameroon defenders. They all left him and almost created an opening for Kayuch. This is Keke about to come on for Cameroon here.
I'm not surprised about this substitution. I would think the coach wants to liven things up a little bit.
Well, he is an attacker. And he comes on for the goal scorer, Kanya Biek. And Keke. whose goal 23 minutes from the end of that England versus Cameroon World Cup quarter-final game gave Cameroon hope of reaching the semi-finals, is on now in the action. Plays his club football in France, Eugene Ekeke. I suspect he'll play in an attacking mode for Cameroon. We've reached the three-quarter point of the game. Still Cameroon in green, leading Morocco by a goal to nil.
They're virtually sitting back on the lead, the Cameroons. You know, they're not looking to play the ball forward. They're not looking to get in behind the Moroccan defence.
Dayoudi. Morocco. They win a corner. Rockby to take it there.
What a good corner as well. He whipped in on that near post. I don't know, obviously the referee saw something. I always got my eyes on the ball because he really whipped it in and he dipped into that near post.
Seven is Omambique. Wide to Makinaki. Plays for Malaga in the Spanish First Division, or the Second Division. Kayuch waiting patiently for the cross, which never came.
Defended by Cundy, slowed him down to start with, as it looked as though the Moroccans had built up a nice attack. The crowd were on their toes as well. They were shouting, they thought they were expecting something. He just got out to the man, didn't dive in, slowed him down, virtually got him to stop, and then kind of put his foot in at the right time and come away with the ball. Good experienced player, Cundy.
Cundy again. Good little reverse pass. The Fede showed too much of the ball to the defender. He's able to whisk it away. All of the suffocating pressure by Cameroon, which they were able to exert in the back end of the first half.
The coach is busy writing there, Gary. This second half they'll give him plenty to think about. Plenty to work on in the days between now and the next game.
Maybe he's writing his postcards.
No, I don't think so. I think he'll be examining his side's performance, and there'll be little things happen that he needs to get to grips with when they go training tomorrow or the next day. I would think he will be a little bit disappointed in the Cameroon's approach this second half. He will be saying, look lads, you sat back on that lead. We could have gone forward and punished the Moroccans even more. Because the Moroccans have had perhaps 2 or 3 chances this second half that they could have got the equaliser. So he's not going to be happy with that.
Kanaki seemed to be pushed over there. Here is Makinaki again. Stern challenge by Boulal. 7 is Omambique. Omambique, that's a good save by the reserve goalkeeper.
super run, did it all himself. Won the ball, turned on the ball, went at defenders, sidestepped players, got himself through the inside left spot, and the goalkeeper had to make a good save to get it over the bar. He goes through two defenders, outside the last one, goalkeeper comes, tries to stick up in the top corner, goalkeeper made a good save.
Driven in low and headed clear that time by Boulal. Maybe that sniff of a chance will give Cameroon new heart. Pagal! They look a different side in the last couple of minutes than they've done in the entire second half.
Well, they ought to get back in the game. I mean, they've virtually been resting on the lead. You know, they haven't been working that hard. I mean, they should have something in reserve now to hit the Moroccans back. But Oman Biak has been outstanding, I think, most of the game. His heading has been, he's led the line well. His heading's been very good. He's looked dangerous on crosses. He virtually created the goal from that long throw. Lovely flick on. A good header in the first half.
Akeke. Second half substitutes. Cameroon came on for Kenya Biak. Allowed to run with the ball. Makanaki onto Oman Biak. Onto his right foot. Before he scatters the third row of the stand.
He did very well though early on, like he got a return pass and he sidestepped the last defender, brought it out on his right foot, didn't get a connection for some unknown reason. There he goes, just a little bit wide. He seemed to dig underneath it. Did ever so well here. The retreating defender goes outside him. Don't know what happened with the connection. But he can play. He can definitely play.
13 minutes left of the game, Cameroon, and the Greens still leading by a goal to nil. Remember, we're looking to eliminate one team from each of these groups. Oh, appeals for a penalty there. As Boudabala made his way inside that Cameroon box.
No, he pushed against the defender here. The defender was too strong there.
Obvious push there on Wele. Kick to Wele. They were present in the World Cup in Italy in 1990. Played in all 5 games there. Played in all 6 African Nations Cup qualification matches. They certainly need his presence in this team.
That's where the referee's done very well. I mean, there's been a lot of kind of semi-injuries, you would call them, and he's kept the trainer off the pitch.
Tatian. Dagal. Wasn't the most incisive of passes to Makanaki. And it's Daoudi to take the throw. I just wonder whether Morocco will hang on and say, well, we've been beaten by Cameroon, but we should go out and beat Zaire and qualify for the next stage of this competition. They've lost 2 influential players, their defender Fedal and their goalkeeper and captain Baduzaki through injury.
Well, if they are saying that, Gary, they ought to really. I mean, the opening kind of 15-20 minutes of the second half should have encouraged them to go forward. They were making chances. And who knows with the next match? You know, the unpredictability of football. Once you take things for granted, that's when it brings you down to earth with a bump. The games you expect to win, you don't win.
Morocco have used both their substitutes in the first half. Cameroon have used just one, Eugene Akeke, and have the luxury of bringing on a second if they so require. Ayouch. Number 9 for Morocco, getting in the way, Jules Onana. With 10 minutes to go of this game, Cameroon still with that solitary goal scored by Biek.
I know it's the first game, but one or two players out there look a little bit, they look a little bit tired. They look as though the match is too much for them.
Budabala can't keep possession. Tatao took it off him. Agale midfield wins the ball. 14 is Tatao. 20, Makanaki. And perhaps Cameroon, with the finishing line in sight, are just taking their foot off the gas a little bit.
Well, I suppose they win today, they're through their group. You know, they virtually, well, they are, they will qualify.
Looking this time for Nebet.
I've got a feeling he went for the ball, he saw the ball, he put his left foot to the ball and missed it. And then obviously then collided with the front player of the Cameroons, Biek.
Azmi in the Moroccan goal. This one chipped over the top. It was mopped up by the Moroccan defence. Forced away by Azouzi. Duisburg player. It's a match which has gone a little bit flat in the last 10 minutes.
Very much so. In fact, since Azmi came on for the injured Zaki, he hasn't been tested. I mean, we don't know whether he can play or not. All the Cameroons don't know whether he can play or not.
Oh, there's an opening there for Biek. And a fresh air shot as he stole into that 6-yard box. This is Tatao. Onana.
It didn't look as though he knew what to do on in-swinging corners there, Gary. I mean, that ball came across, virtually as the in-swinging corner came across the edge of the 6-yard box. He didn't know how to cope with it.
Fuel as you like, Babu with the back heel. Certainly plenty of skill in this Cameroon team. They've had sufficient possession to make some of these chances count. Gets it clear. Free kick given for high kick. And this one turned back to Azmi. Moroccan teams historically have been blessed with fine players, but few have gelled towards good footballing teams. There's a good pass by Rokbi to the far side. Rokbi! He made a name for himself there.
Well, every now and again they look as though they can get in, the Moroccans. They look as though they can get players wide and then they can get the ball across the face of the goal like this one. you tend to, I tend to want to go and stand out there with them and say, come on, push forward. You can do these, you can get an equaliser.
That's exactly what their coach is saying there, Don. I think he heard you.
I think so.
Well, have Morocco the mental tenacity now just to carry through their good intentions and find this equaliser? Because they've had sufficient possession in the second half. There's a foul on Jean-Claude Bagal.
What you find with these teams, Gary, is you find that they are technically very good and they can build up nice, some little passing moves, little 1-2s, and when it comes to the art of finishing, getting the ball in the net, they're found wanting. No doubt about it, as though they spend all their time in training doing lots of possession play, lovely little passing movements, and not enough shooting and finishing. And very rare headers of the ball, very little.
Is that where they miss Roger Miller?
Well, to be honest, for the Cameroon, I'm virtually talking about the Moroccans rather than the Cameroons, because the Cameroons have got Oman Biak, who I think is good in the air if he gets enough service and gets enough crossing. But like the Moroccans, they don't look to me as though they can finish.
Well, Lagrassi, their striker, was left out of the starting 11 today. He was a top scorer in the qualifying matches going into the African Nations Cup final games. Maybe they just lack somebody with his quality to
watch now,
touch in front of goal.
Yeah, now they're on the ball, they're knocking it about quite nicely, in control, a lot of confidence, rolling to each other, little 1-2s, and they might get to a point that they play a nice ball through, but they can't seem to finish.
Well, they've played with two up front, Rockby and Kayuch. Both of them have had plenty of opportunities. Oh, that really was dangerous. Almost let in Oman Biak there. Rockby. He just fired Morocco now in the closing 2 or 3 minutes of this game. How they would wish an equaliser. Cameroon now know they're very, very close to the opening victory.
Oh, you can bet they're getting signals from the bench, letting them know how long to go.
Makinaki. 14 is Tatao.